Hello. Hello. So my name is Chris Turner, and I'm an intuitive psychic medium. You can find me at ondemanpsychic.com. And tonight I'm going to be doing a basic pendulum class for you, how to use a pendulum. This is a pendulum, but you can basically use anything as a pendulum. You can use anything as a pendulum. So I'm just going to talk about pendulums until some people start coming on, or we'll just get on with the class and people can come on later. If you're on live, you can ask me questions and I will try to answer them the best I can. So I'm going to teach a little bit how to use a pendulum, my method on using a pendulum, and then we will do some practice, and I'll teach you a basic entity clearing method using a pendulum. It's really quite easy. Hi, Jeanette. Thank you for joining me. So you can use anything as a pendulum. You don't have to go to the store and buy a pendulum like this. So you can use anything. You can use a necklace, and here's another necklace that you can use. So you can use anything. You can even use dowsing rods. These take a little practice, but you can use those for yes or no answers. This class tonight is dedicated to my friend, who is absolutely one of the best natural clairvoyants that I have ever met in my whole life. And she tries to use a pendulum and she doesn't know the correct way, or I don't want to say the correct way. She doesn't know like my proven technique of how to use a pendulum. And so she gets very inconsistent answers. So I promised her that I would do a class on how to use a pendulum. And so here it is. Hi, Christina. Thank you for joining me. Now, I uploaded what we're going to use. We're going to use the pendulum chart, and I'll hold these up during the class if you didn't see the uploads, and then I'm going to explain how to use a pendulum the right way. So let's get started. And now don't be scared by the name of this book, okay? I don't know why he named this book this, okay? But this is where you can find all of the information and more that I'm going to give you. Very simple information, though, that I'm going to give you tonight regarding how to use a pendulum for entity clearing. So let me explain what entity clearing is. Tonight we're only going to go into earthbound spirits. So a lot of times people don't realize that they have passed, that our bodies die, but our soul survives. That's the whole idea. When I do a mediumship reading, when I connect people with their loved ones in spirit, their souls live on in wherever, you want to call it, the light, or with creator, or heaven, the other side. People have all different names for it now. So don't be scared by the name of this book, but because I really don't know why he named it this. But this book by Eugene Maury, and this is an old book. And this is like just ignore this part because everybody's so afraid of this. And it says how to clear at a distance a spirit possessed person. Very simple, very easy, foolproof technique. And it's also very safe because you're going to be asking permission. So let's move on. First, we have to learn a little bit of basics on how to use a pendulum. Now, when we learn these basics, we can use the pendulum for absolutely anything. We can, figure out what's wrong with our health issues, what's wrong with my knee, what did I I do to my hand that it's hurting? We can diagnose what's wrong with our car. I doused where we should drill our well. And then the engineer said, oh, let's drill in this other place. And when that didn't work out, I told the well driller, well, I doused that it should be over here. And we hit water there very easily. So your pendulum can tell you anything. So here is your pendulum. So the correct way of using a pendulum is to like hold it with only 2 fingers and let it like freely dangle. Now it is our subconscious mind that controls the pendulum. It's our subconscious mind that controls the pendulum. But it's more than that. We are using our subconscious mind to control the pendulum, and then our subconscious mind controls like minute little muscle movements in our hand to give us the answers that we want with the convention that we have set up beforehand. And then we connect to our superconscious mind. We don't want to get answers from our conscious mind. So, my friend who I'm dedicating this class to, that is the mistake she's making. She asks, pendulum, tell me this answer. Well, that is engaging your conscious mind. You want to say, from my subconscious mind to my superconscious mind, or there are very extensive methods of how to use a pendulum in the Huna tradition, and that is where I first learned to use a pendulum. So it's what sounds natural to me. I say from my basic self, which is subconscious mind, to my high self. Now, how come we connect to our superconscious mind and get answers, or our higher self? Well, because our higher self is the part of our soul. Like we have a little bit of our soul that comes down into a body to come onto this earth plane to be incarnated and experience everything that we thought would be a good idea to experience in this lifetime. And sometimes I wonder why I thought some of the things that I'm experiencing would be a good idea, but that's for a different day. And so our superconscious mind, or our oversoul, or our higher self, if you've never heard of this concept before, stays above us, and it reaches the heavenlies, or the astral realms, or the light, whatever whatever term, whatever word you use for it. And we are all connected. We are all connected through our superconscious mind or higher self. I am connected to your higher self. You're connected to my higher self. We all communicate. In the spirit world, there is no such thing as spoken words. There is no such thing as communications not getting through. In the spirit world, you think something and it comes into existence. You think about a person and they are there to engage with you. So that is because all of our superconscious minds, all of our high selves are connected. So we intentionally make that connection. So we want to connect from our basic self to our higher self. So our basic self is physically using the pendulum, and we tell it to connect to our higher self to get the answers we need. And we can get answers on anything, absolutely anything you want. You just have to get permission first. Like if you want answers on, is he or she cheating on me? You get permission first, and if your higher self gives you permission to get that answer, you'll get it. If you don't get permission, then you won't get it. So this is the chart, and it's in the book. So this is the chart that explains our conscious mind, which is A, and that is what we think with, like my conscious mind is telling me to speak right now. My conscious mind is what is controlling my body right now. The subconscious mind is it remembers everything, and it is what we consider our identity. It is our part of our mind, our who we believe to be ourselves that lives on after our body dies. It's that part of our soul that has incarnated onto this earth plane, into this body. So we tell our conscious mind to connect to our subconscious mind, and then we command our subconscious mind to get answers from the superconscious, from our higher self. So you can call it the subconscious mind, you can call it the basic self, whichever one feels right to you. It doesn't matter what you call it, but it just feels right to me to call it from my basic self to my high self, because like I said, I learned this technique from Huna. So let me move on. Let me look at my notes here, because we're going to cover a lot during this short class. So before doing pendulum work, or actually like at the beginning of every day, especially if you're going to be doing entity clearing with your pendulum work, it's a good idea to surround yourself with energy, with protection. So this is the way that I surround myself with protection. I do it before every reading, and it is also the way that I have energy for my guides to use, or my higher self to use, to manifest things and do the work that they need to do for me, and without them taking my energy. So you're going to visualize, you're going to sit down in a chair, you're going to visualize with your feet flat on the floor, you're going to visualize roots coming out of the bottom of your feet down through the earth. Now it's going to come down through the earth, down to the center of the earth, where you'll see a glowing golden light, a glowing golden energy that is at the center of the earth. You're going to concentrate on that energy and pull it up through those roots, up through the roots, and then up to the bottom of your feet, up through your legs. And then you're going to pull it and make a ball. You're going to make a ball of that energy and concentrate it on your solar plexus. Our solar plexus is like is our power center, a little bit above our belly button. So you're going to concentrate that ball of energy that's grounding you to the earth and giving you energy from the earth in your solar plexus. Now you're going to take your, in your mind's eye, you're going to take your concentration up through your crown chakra, up through the top of your head, and you're going to go out into the wider world, out past the earth to the stars. If you want to connect to the star energy and bring that down, that's fine. I personally connect to the sun, and I bring the golden energy from the sun down. But it's perfectly okay to connect to the energy of the cosmos, and you bring that down, and then down through your crown chakra, down your head, and then you also add to the ball of energy at your solar plexus the energy from the sun and the stars. So now you are channeling energy from the earth, you're channeling energy from the stars. Now you concentrate your mind to bring that energy up and out and around you like a fountain of energy around you. And this will be the protection, the energy protection around you. And you can even say your intention that it is, surrounding you to protect you and seal off your aura and make an auric shield. And if you believe and you work with the violet flame of Saint Germain, so now is a good time to also optionally bring in a column of the violet flame of Saint Germain and put a column of the violet flame of Saint Germain around you. So that is how we, put some protection in place, and we, get some energy before we start working with our pendulum. Okay, so if you guys have any questions on that, let me know, and I'll try to clear it up. Otherwise, we'll just go on. If you have your pendulums with you, then we can start to go on. So now we go on to the next step of using the pendulum or using the dowsing rods. First thing we do is we have to establish our yes or no with our pendulum. So you're going to take your pendulum and hold it up, and then you're going to swing it in a circle. You're going to swing it in a clockwise circle. Now, this is where it's up to you if you want to. Some people swing it in a clockwise circle for yes or counterclockwise circle for no. That's okay if you want to do that. My convention is I swing it in a clockwise circle for, for my waiting pattern. So my pendulum right now here is waiting for me to ask it something. So I would say, from my basic self to my high self, show me a yes. And it swings back and forth on the north to south plane. And then I'm going to make it go in the waiting pattern in a circle again. And then I'm going to say, show me a no. And it goes east to west. It goes back and forth. So that is simply my convention of what I use for the pendulum. If you already use a pendulum and you have established the communication, with your higher self, that clockwise is yes and counterclockwise is no, that's perfectly fine. But when your pendulum cannot answer you, then it's either going to stop or it's going to go back into the holding pattern and just go in circles and wait. Now try to get you can use anything for a pendulum, but try to get a good and balanced pendulum. This you can use as a pendulum, but it's not balanced. It would be hard. So if you're very, very good at using a pendulum, that would be okay. But I mean, I take my necklace off and use it as a pendulum all the time. This you can use as a pendulum, but it would be harder because it has 2 strings and not much weight at the end, but you can use it. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. Really fast, where did those rods go? Okay, so really fast with the dowsing rods. So the way I use the dowsing rods is this is neutral and this is yes and this is no. So and you can ask the dowsing rods a lot more things, but the more that you work with them, you'll get an idea of how to get more answers. So that's how to use the pendulum. So we'll move on to actually asking the pendulum questions. So we have channeled energy from the earth and the stars and put the protection around us and protected our aura. We can call our guides and angels in at this time. If you work with them, that would be perfectly fine. If you don't work with them, then it's still going to work. And then we have established our yes or no with the pendulum. Now we're going to ask whether we can do the question that we want to do. So, for instance, if I want to know, am I going to get a promotion at work? If I do this extra work, if I stay late, will that mean I'll get a promotion at work? So I'm going to ask that. First, what I have to do is I have to ask for permission to get this answer. So I'm going to say, from my basic self to my high self, do I have permission to get the answer to this question? And yes, I have permission to get the answer to this question. Very good, Jeanette. I am glad that I have inspired you to get a pendulum and practice. Thank you very much. And so now I have permission from my basic self and my high self to ask this question. Now I'm going to ask them, are they able to answer this question for me? A lot of people go and, ask these questions, and your high self might not know the answer. It just might not be something that's knowable or it might not be for your highest good to know the answer to this question. So here we are. I'm going to say, are you able to answer this question for me? And there we go. So I have permission to ask the question. And then my high self says, yes, I'm able to ask this question for you. I'm able to answer the question that you're going to ask. So there it is. We establish our connection from our basic self to our high self. And then we ask for permission to ask the question. And so a lot goes into permission. I'm just asking a question for myself. If I stay late at work, if I do extra work, will I get a promotion? That just is for me. But if you are asking for somebody else, or if there's other people involved, then your high self is going to be having to get permission from other people's high selves also. So you ask permission, and then you ask, am I able to get a correct answer to this question? Because you need to know that the answers that you're getting are reliable and accurate and correct. So what are some of the things that you wouldn't get a correct answer on? Something that your angels don't want to reveal to you because it might matter to the lessons that your soul has come to learn in this lifetime. Those things might not be revealed to you. It won't ever be revealed to you if and when someone's going to pass into spirit. That is something that I personally believe is, in the hands of God or the Creator, whoever you believe in. And it won't be revealed to you. What else are some things that you can't know? It won't be revealed to you things that are going to affect somebody else and won't be for their highest good. So there's a couple of things, and time frames. Time frames are very hard for spirit to answer you. So if you want to know, like in 3 months from now, is this going to happen? Your high self through your pendulum can answer you. Is this going to happen? They just might not be able to answer you if it's going to happen in 3 months, like maybe an approximate time, but that is something that is going to be difficult to get is a time frame. So we can practice some, like I'll give an example. I'll give an example of connecting from my basic self to my high self and asking some questions. So say somebody is going in for surgery. Say someone's going in for surgery and they're anticipating it, and they don't know if things are going to come out okay. They don't know if the surgery is going to be successful. They don't want to go through all of that if the surgery isn't going to work anyway. So they come to me and they ask me a question, should I do this surgery? So I get my pendulum going and I say, from my basic self to my high self, show me a yes, show me a no. Now, like right now, it did show me a yes or a no, but I kind of am feeling like I need a little drink of water. If you feel like you need a little drink of water and you're not getting a yes or a no, then take a drink of water. So I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay, so we took a drink of water and we asked, show me a yes. Okay, so now I'm getting a yes. And then I'm getting a no. So first you make sure that your pendulum is operating from your basic self to your high self properly. So you establish your yes and your no. Now, like my client, Mary, wants to know, she's going to have surgery, on Friday, and she's worried about it. Is there any reason that, is the surgery going to be okay? Is there any reason she should not have the surgery? So then I say, from my basic self to my high self, do I have permission to answer this question? Yes, I do. So then I ask, am I able to answer this question? Yes, I am. So then, my high self right now is most likely connecting to Mary's angels and guides or Mary's high self. And so now we're going to say, Mary's surgery on Friday, will it be successful? Yes, it will. And so is there any reason that Mary should not have this surgery on Friday? No. So there we go. A very simple, explanation of how you can ask yes or no questions with a pendulum. Now, so here's the thing. You can only ask yes or no questions. Or one very specific question. When we go to entity clearing, we're going to be asking to give us numbers, but it's basically like yes or no, or what, or the numbers that the chart can tell you. So asking the right question, formulating the right question, is the key to getting a good answer. So remember, only ask one question at a time. As you saw, I broke Mary's question up into two questions. I asked one question, then I asked another, and got the answers. And so ask yes or no questions, and also ask one question at a time. If you are looking for a lost item, you would ask your pendulum you would either go around your house and ask your pendulum to go into its standby mode and swing yes or no when you get close to the lost item, or, so that would be yes or no, or you would start asking yes or no question. Is it in the living room? Is it in the dining room? So you have to ask one by one. Thank you, Christina. Yes. George absolutely taught me that also. He absolutely taught me that also. And that is, if any of you are trying to learn how to tap into your intuition, if you're trying to learn oracle card reading or tarot card reading, ask one question at a time. Feel free to ask many, many questions in a row, but ask one question at a time, because your high self, your guides, have to know like what you're asking so that they can answer it. Yes, I love him too, and I miss him so much. And right before I sat down for this this Facebook Live, his picture came up on my phone. And I was like, thank you, George. Thank you for being with me. Yes, I love him too. So let's take what we have learned. So we were talking about finding lost items. We can find lost people too. So practice using your pendulum, practice trusting it, practice getting good at it, and then if it's something that is laid on your heart, you can find missing people by asking your pendulum. You can get out a map and ask your pendulum to show you on the map, or you can start asking questions. Are they along a highway? Are they, in this town? Are they in that town? And you can absolutely find a missing person by using your pendulum. So it helps to practice it, because that practice is going to build up your trust in your basic self's connection to your high self, and also if you ask your angels and guides to come in, it's going to build up your trust in the accuracy of it. So let's move on to entity clearing. You can clear all sorts of entities by using the pendulum remotely. You don't have to be in front of the person, and you don't have to go to their house to clear their house. You don't have to be like it's sitting in front of them to clear entities from them. We're going to only talk about the most basic of entities tonight. Now, you definitely, absolutely, definitely want to do that little protection that we talked about, grounding to the earth energy, reaching to the star energy, bringing down the violet flame of Saint Germain. I would also suggest, you don't have to if you don't believe in angels, but I would also suggest asking Archangel Michael to come in to your clearing session. If you don't believe in angels, ask your guides to come in. If, like, say if you work with other guides, then ask them to come in for protection. So, what are entities? Let's talk about what are entities first. Entities can run the gamut from ETs, extraterrestrials. They can be negative thought forms. If someone has sent a negative thought form your way, thoughts become things. If someone has sent a negative thought form your way and it has attached to you, it could be, messing up with your aura. It could be messing your health up. And they also could be dark force entities like demons. So tonight, we're only going to do the example of clearing earthbound entities. Now, what's an earthbound entity? If somebody passes, the dying process, the death process of transitioning into spirit, many people describe the same thing, and we've learned this through NDEs, when people have a near-death experience and come back. Many people describe the same thing. They'll describe their loved ones in spirit being there to greet them and to help them along. They'll describe seeing a white light, and then they'll describe getting to the heavenly realms, getting there and having it be wonderful and colorful and lots of light. So sometimes a soul gets lost, doesn't realize it's dead. Like if a person passed while they were totally knocked out by drug use, or if they were under anesthesia, or if they were in a very fast accident and they didn't realize that they passed. So sometimes that happens. There could be other reasons. Maybe they're attached to the house that they lived in. Maybe they're attached to people on the earth, and they saw the way to go to the light, but chose not to. Because they thought that they had to stay around the person that they were a caregiver for, because how is that person going to survive without them? So it's much better for them to go to the light and then come back. And that's what we'll convince them of doing. So that is what an earthbound entity is, in case you didn't know. So we're going to use our pendulum to clear earthbound entities. Now, we can do this on ourselves. We can do this on somebody else. But what do we need beforehand? We need permission. We need permission from, we can ask permission from our higher self, but this time, since we're clearing entities from somebody else, we're asking permission from their higher self. So we're going to establish our connection. We're going to establish our connection. Oh, you know what? Before we do this, I've got to explain our second handout for the class. This is our pendulum chart. This is our pendulum chart that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using there is a whole like a whole bunch of things on this pendulum chart, but we're only going to be using the bottom half that has numbers. The bottom half that has numbers that goes from 10 around to 100. From 10 around to 100, because we're going to be asking for a number count. We're going to be asking for how many earthbound entities that we are dealing with. So we're going to be using the bottom that goes from 10 to 100. We do use this whole chart for clearing entities, but we're only going into like the first most basic part of entity clearing here in this class. So we're going to be using that chart, and we're going to be asking our pendulum to show us a number on that chart. So I would say, show me a number, and my pendulum would swing to, like, say it would swing to 70 and point to 70. So that is how we'll know the answer to that. So first, we're going to establish connection. Make sure that we have. Let me get this here so you can see it. We're going to make sure that we have a good yes and a no. And if not, we're going to, put that energy around us again. We're going to, drink a glass of water. We're going to get our energy going. Maybe we're tired. Don't do this while you're tired. Don't do this while you're angry or in a bad mood. Be grounded and centered yourself so that you get the best answers. So we're going to ask from my basic self to my high self, show me a yes. So I get a good yes, and show me a no. So I get a good, come on, get a good no. I think I'd better drink another glass of water. It's hard to talk for a whole hour. I'd better take another drink. That's the first thing you would do. Take a drink. If you're dehydrated, you're not going to get good answers. And I don't know why. I know it's true, but I don't know why. So you're going to say, show me a yes and show me a no. There we go. Now, did you see how much better the swing was there after I took a drink? So yeah, but not wine, like water. My attempt at humor. So we're going to establish that we've got good connection from our basic self to our high self to start this session by getting that good, strong yes or no. So now we're going to say that we want our higher self to connect to the person that we're going to try to clear entities from. Let's talk about our friend Mary again, our fictitious friend Mary. We're concerned about Mary because she's been having headaches and, she's been hearing voices. She has chronic fatigue. She's tired all the time. Well, those are earthbound spirits, talking to her and taking her energy. And, perhaps one of these earthbound spirits died from head trauma and, is putting that on her. So Mary has been having a little bit of problems. It doesn't matter what. So we're going to say, from my basic self to my high self, I'd like to connect to Mary's higher self for this clearing. Do I have permission to do a clearing on Mary right now? So I'm going to get permission. So there we go. So Mary's high self says, oh yes, please do. Please do. Now, if Mary's high self knows about these earthbound spirits, okay, but why hasn't Mary's high self done anything about it? Well, for some reason, we in the physical body can, affect the earthbound spirits that are trapped here on this physical plane sometimes better than the high self. And maybe Mary never asked her high self. So you might be able to ask your own high self and they might be able to do it. Or, somebody here on the earth plane can affect earthbound spirits that are trapped on the earth plane because, that is, the level we're on. That's the vibration we're on. And that's just a maybe. A lot of this stuff is... a lot of this knowledge that I have is just because I've done it. So I'm giving you my knowledge of what I've learned from doing and what I think is going on. So if that's not really what's going on, then that's just like what I have gleaned from my experience of doing it. So I'm going to so I've gotten permission to clear Mary. Now I'm going to ask, is Mary possessed with earthbound entity attachments? And I get a yes. I get a yes that Mary is possessed with earthbound entity attachments. So we know that we've got work to do to clear her. You might get a no. Somebody might have no earthbound entity attachments, and that would be great. If we were doing, you're welcome, Christina. I'm glad you're enjoying this. If we were doing a full round of clearing all of the attachments that could possibly and the negative programs that could possibly be at play, then we'd move on to the next step. Tonight I'm just teaching earthbound entities. So we got a yes for Mary. We didn't get a no. So we have to now clear them. That's where this comes in. Or you could basically, if you don't have this, if you don't understand this, if it doesn't resonate with you, if you say, oh my God, that looks so complicated, I don't think I can use this, then you could just ask, how many are there? Are there 10? Are there 20? Are there 30? Oh, yep, looks like they're 30. But if you want to, you would use the bottom half of this chart that goes from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You would place this flat underneath your pendulum, and you would ask, how many earthbound spirits are there to clear? And then you would watch where it points to, where the pendulum points to, and it looked like it pointed to about 35. So we're going to like by one method I got 30, by the other method I got 35. So we're going to go with 35 to begin with. So we're looking at 35, which is normal. Anywhere from 10, 20, 30. If someone has a whole bunch of attachments, like 100, then they've got to work on a positive mental attitude. They've got to work on things that they're doing that might be inviting, these attachments. That's another story. But 10, 20, 30, that's normal. That's normal for you to have to get to work on. So now, if you work with guides, if you work with angels, ask them in now. If you don't work with guides and angels, that's perfectly fine. You can do it on your own. But what I do is I do a combination of my own commands and also working with my guides, because sometimes your guides can just get it done. Sometimes your guides can't just get it done, and you have to do it on your own. So if you work with guides, if you commit to doing this work, guides will come to you and work with you, because if you're interested in doing this, if you're interested in this pendulum work, chances are it's something that you pre-planned before coming into this lifetime, so that there's guides waiting. They're just waiting for you to pick up your pendulum and start, and then they'll be there to help you because they've been waiting and they'll be like, finally Chris decided to pick that pendulum up. So if you work with guides, you ask them to come in. Now we're going to have our higher self, we're going to have our guides connect to the earthbound spirits that we're going to clear off of Mary now. So when we know there's 35, so we're just going to do them as a whole bunch. We're going to do them as a whole bunch because a lot of them are just going to willingly go. So you're going to connect, from your higher self, and you're going to concentrate on this, on connecting in your mind. And you can say it out loud, or you can just think it in your mind, because remember, in the spirit world, it's just thoughts. They like thoughts become things in the spirit world. So you can talk to them, with your mind, and they'll hear you, and they'll talk, they also talk back through your mind. That's why it's called voices in your head. So you explain to them, that they are trapped here on this earth plane, and it's not the existence that was meant for them, that they were meant to move on to the light or to heaven, to be with God. If you believe in that. If you don't believe in that, so if you don't believe in that, then explain it in the way that you believe in. But so you explain to them that they're trapped here, and that they might not realize that they have passed, or that they are hanging around Mary because they feel like they're helping her, but they will be able to come back and help her, but really so much better after they transition to heaven, and then they'll be able to come back and help Mary and actually help her materialize and manifest things that she wants in her life. As an earthbound spirit, they can no more help anybody than somebody else on the earth plane. So And you also explain to them that, when we pass, our bodies pass away, and then our souls go to heaven, or, go to the light to continue our soul's development. So they will be happy to continue their soul's development when they do transition to the light. Then if you're working with guides, your guides could explain this to them, or your guides and angels could now bring that light into focus, bring that pathway to heaven into focus. If you're not working with guides, then you visualize in your mind, you visualize that light, that pathway, and chances are you'll see, just beyond that light, you'll see people waiting just beyond that light for them to greet them. And they'll recognize these people and they'll go to the light. So you bring that light into focus and you tell them, go to the light. It's what you're supposed to do. It'll be good for you. And, you can, go, come back and help Mary, from a better place, from the heavenlies. Okay, so let's see. So Christina, yes, if you feel like that you want to speak this, then that is perfectly okay. In the Huna tradition, they absolutely do speak it out loud. In the Huna tradition, they absolutely believe that you must speak your clearing prayers out loud. So if you feel that it's more effective for you to speak it out loud, speak it out loud. So because that's what's going to work for you. So speak it out loud, and that's what will be effective for you. If you allow them to hear your thoughts too, they can hear your thoughts also. You don't have to allow, the spirit world to hear your thoughts. You don't have to, allow them connection. So before we begin this work, before we begin to work with our pendulum, and probably before you begin every day, take a quick moment to connect down through your feet to the energy, the golden energy at the center of the earth. Bring it up, connect to the energy of the sun or the stars, bring it down, and then make that as a fountain around you with your intention to seal off your aura. Now that sealing off your aura makes it impenetrable to you, to the spirit world, to hear your thoughts or to get to you. When you want to connect to the spirit world, you expand that, you bring it out. Your aura is about maybe 2 or 3 feet, from your body. So when you want to connect to the spirit world, you expand it and you actually visualize that expanding out so that they see that expansion and they come in to communicate to you. So that protection. And especially if you have worked with the violet flame of Saint Germain and you bring down that column of violet flame, is impenetrable. They can't hear your thoughts and they can't, bring their thoughts to you, because the earthbound spirits, they're pretty simple. But when you start getting into dark force entities, you don't want them to be able to talk to you because they're going to be rude. They're not going to want to go. So you don't want to hear what they have to say. You want to make yourself impenetrable to them. So we told them to see the light, to go to the light, either by giving them our own commands, or having our guides tell them to do that. So now we're going to get our pendulum back out, and either through the chart, or through just asking questions, we're going to say, from my basic self to my high self, I would like to know, how many earthbound spirits does Mary have around her now? Is it 10? And I'm getting a no. Have they all been cleared? And I'm getting a no. So it's not 10, but they haven't all been cleared. So now I'm going to count down. Let me get a neutral. Is it 9? Is it 8? When I get to the number, it'll swing yes. Is it 7? See how it's starting to think about yes, because we're getting close to the number. Is it 6? All right, 6. It's 6. So Mary still has 6 earthbound entities that didn't go, that didn't leave. So we're going to do this again. We're going to do it again. And, sometimes they all leave. Sometimes they all just go. Sometimes they were all like, oh, look, that's great. I want to go to that light. It's beautiful in heaven. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be here. But for some reason, 6 decided to stay. They might think that Mary needs their help. They might think that they're not worthy of going to heaven. I don't want to say anything about religion because, but everybody gets to go to heaven. Okay. So, the religions out there teaching people that you weren't good enough to go to heaven, they're wrong. So everybody gets to go see God. Everybody gets to go to heaven. And so some religions have people stuck here. So you're going to have to, tell them, like if you're thinking that you're not, that's my cat. Cats are very spiritual. He's saying yes and amen to me. So, maybe they're one of those earthbound entities that think, I did bad things in my life, or, maybe they died by their own hand, and religions, have taught people that you don't get to go to heaven if you die by your own hand. And so we tell them, this is where you're supposed to go. You are supposed to, go there. And so we tell them that, their religion, no longer applies because they're going to get to be with God. So they don't need a religion to tell them how to be with God. And so we just try to, explain to them, to go to the light, and then we try again. So let's see. All right. So the 6 entities that are still attached to Mary. Did you see the light and choose not to go? Okay. So now I probably would bring my guides in. And I would say, meet my guide. Let's call him George. Meet my guide, George. He's going to explain to you, how it works. He's going to explain to you this light, and he's going to escort you to the light. And so I would introduce the 2 of them and let my guides and my angels work on it at this point in time, because that would probably be effective. If it is a case where it's been, a religion that has convinced this person that they're not worthy to be with God and they're not worthy to go to heaven, I would bring in one of my guides who's a priest or a rabbi or a nun. Yes, I have guides that are priests and rabbis and nuns, and I would bring them in. And if the nun comes and talks to them, or maybe even Mother Mary, she's extremely powerful, and I would bring them in and say, meet, my guide, this nun, and she's going to explain to you how she's going to take you to the light. She's going to take you to heaven. Your loved ones are going to be there to welcome you with open arms, and chances are they go. So the 6 earthbound entities still attached to Mary I have now talked to my guide, George. He's going to show them that their loved ones are, in the light, in heaven, waiting for them. So now let's ask, does Mary still have earthbound entities attached to her? And we're getting a no. We're getting a no this time. So, so having them be introduced to my guides worked. If that doesn't work, then bring in the big guns, bring in Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael will, simply escort them for you, because, the archangels, they're powerful, and that's what they do. So that is how you use this to do entity clearing. So we do the entity clearing, until we get a 0. Until we get the answer that there's no earthbound spirits left around them. Now, if the person doesn't start to have like spiritual hygiene, which means, not having negative thinking, don't get blackout drunk, things that are putting you at risk of getting earthbound entity spirit attachments, they're going to have attachments again sometime in the future. So, they're going to have to come back to you for a tune-up, for another clearing. Chances are they're going to feel so much better after not having, these, earthbound spirits around them, that they're going to want to know how to keep them away. So the last thing that you're going to do, you're going to close the session with Mary, with the person that you're clearing. You're going to close the session by visualizing them in your mind, and you're going to visualize white light around them being surrounded by pure, white light. And you're also going to visualize that column of the violet flame of Saint Germain coming down, and like encircling them in a column of violet flame protection energy. And whatever feels right to you, the white light or the violet flame or both. You could ask their angels and guides to come close to them, and be around them and help them stay clear. Hopefully Mary, learns to do the energy clearing that we did before we started this session, and hopefully she learns to keep herself clear. So let's see. So whatever feels, and then so now that's all. That's it. Simple as that. Pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to, because what I did is I told my basic self to reach up to my high self, and so now I'm going to pull it back down. I'm going to pull my energy back down to my basic self, and I'm going to thank my guides. I'm going to thank Archangel Michael for coming to help and protecting me. I'm going to thank the violet flame of Saint Germain for helping me and protecting me. I'm going to thank George for coming and facilitating and helping me, and then I'll end the session with my with my gratitude to my helpers in spirit. So that is my pendulum class. I hope that that this helps you. I hope that that you have learned something. I hope that you pick up a pendulum and start working with it. And you can always, if you have questions, if things come up, you can, if you want practice, you can always contact me, and we can do a practice session together. If you say, hey, I started working with my pendulum, I started getting some confidence in it up, I started getting a relationship, together. Can I practice with you? Sure, let's do it. And so so I hope that this has helped you. So thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Chris Turner, and you can find me at ondemanpsychic.com, and I'm going to bid you good night with many blessings.